Yeehaw! Howdy, partners. We are heading to the Wild West today.
Yes.
Kind of. It's kind of the West.
Yeah, it's definitely the West. Just the northern of the West.
The North Plains.
Yeah, it's not the Northwest, but it's the north of the West.
So we're heading to Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota, and we want to explore it with you today.
Yes.
And share our favorite things to do and places to see and activities to add and all the good stuff. This is the Exploring the National Parks podcast with Dirt in My Shoes. My name is Ash, and I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes. I think that the parks are best seen from the trail, and I'm here to make national park trip planning easy.
And I'm John. I carry the kids on the trails, I tell stories, and notice all the things that Ash doesn't care about much, like birds.
Join us as we show you around America's spectacular national parks.
We're sharing our favorite places, fun facts, adventures, and misadventures.
And we'll even throw in a little trip planning.
Let's start exploring.
But first, we always have to give a little, life update. This is a big one, too. Just kidding. It's been on my mind, though, because every time I go to the bathroom, I think about it.
Okay, which is a big deal.
Where am I going with this, you're wondering? We buy the huge packs of toilet paper from Costco,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it takes forever to get through one of those packages, right?
Right.
And the package that we have been working through must have bypassed quality control. Not sure what's going on with it, but it's like for months now, we have had toilet paper rolls that the perforation ends in the middle of the roll. There's no perforation.
And so every time you try to rip off a piece, it's sudden frustration.
It is. I'm like, I never realized how much I love perforation. How important of a thing that is when it comes to your toilet paper.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It's just like the most modern pet peeve ever. But it's just like, oh my gosh.
So anyway, that's been my latest frustration. It's been, 3 months, 2 months maybe of going along and thinking the toilet paper is fine. And then you hit like the middle of the roll. And then all of a sudden it's like, I can't rip any of this. I'm so frustrated.
Or it rips like diagonally and suddenly you have like just enough to cover your fingers.
Yeah, I don't know. First world problems. I get it. But it's just like, man.
You never know.
We have such a huge container of this non-perforated toilet paper.
You never knew that those little dots were so important.
I know. So something to think about, over the next few weeks after you listen to this episode. And, when you are able to tear your toilet paper into really nice little squares, just think, wow, I'm so lucky.
Ash can't do this. I love it. And if you're listening and you're from Costco or the Kirkland brand or whatever, feel free to send us a sample that has full perforations.
Yes, we'd like a replacement. Actually, I think we probably could take it back and tell them.
We probably could.
But that's too much work too.
And
I don't think about it unless I'm sitting on the toilet.
And I think we can probably explain it without feeling ashamed because we're just looking at each other right now talking. But if we actually had to explain it face to face to a stranger.
So we need to return this because perforation. It's very important.
We can't tear this toilet paper properly. So you need to replace it.
Yeah, we're going to avoid that embarrassment and instead say it on our podcast that goes to thousands of people. So, all right. Anyway, it's been on my mind.
And this is a problem Teddy Roosevelt totally would have empathized with.
He would have fixed it for me.
Exactly. As he was taking on those, titans of industry, he would have said, you need to make sure that the customer experience is perfect all around.
Oh, man. Good segue, John.
We
are at Teddy Roosevelt National Park. I love this park. I know I think I say that about pretty much every park.
We do.
We don't rank the parks, really trying to tell you like if you should go or not. Like you really should just go to all of them.
There's a lot of people like you can totally find tons of videos or things that people share on social media of like, these are the best national parks and these are the worst national parks. And I feel like we don't have lists like that.
I never will do that because you never know which park is going to speak to you. And I feel like Theodore Roosevelt National Park was such a huge surprise to me the first time we went. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but it has a really cool feeling. There's several different reasons for this. You've got like the Old West, when you're in Medora, which is the gateway town to this park, there's a lot of Old West, lots of horses, lots of farming, lots of ranching, lots of that type of vibe. And then you have a park that most people don't even know exists. And so it's fairly quiet. And so you get more of the settled and like relaxed and I'm just out here soaking it in type of vibe when you're in the park. And then you have the Theodore Roosevelt piece of it, which also adds to the experience that you have here, knowing about the conservation side of the parks and how important it is to protect beautiful places and the hardships that you face and overcome and the healing properties of nature that are just so woven into his story.
Right. In this place.
Yeah. And so it all comes together into this one park and it's amazing.
It really is. It's so fun. And I feel like each trip that we've taken here has gotten like it compounds better on the last one. Like every time. Our first trip was great. Our second trip was better. Our third trip is better. Every trip gets better because it just feels like we find new ways and better ways to experience the park.
Yeah. And I will say with this park is not as much like I have this list of things that I must do while I'm here. And I'm just like trying to get to all of these things. It really is, for me, more of a park where I show up and it's like, let's just drive around and stop where we feel like stopping.
Right.
And I like that. That's a nice shift from some of these bigger, busier parks where it's like, I've got to be here at this time. I need to do this activity. I need to get up at this time so I can get parking. It's not like that here. And I really appreciate that. It's a nice change.
Yeah, it's almost like you're experience hunting, kind of with a general idea that you want this experience, but you kind of have to drive around the park to find the right spot.
Yeah. So we're going to drive around the park with you today to kind of share some of our favorite things and places we like to stop, give you some insights into visiting this park and how we like to see it.
Yes.
So first of all, though, I think we did mention Theodore Roosevelt National Park is in North Dakota. It's a great one to add into your South Dakota trip. So we oftentimes will do the South Dakota parks, which is honestly one of our favorite family trips of all time. We love going to South Dakota as a family. So we'll take that trip. And so you're doing like Badlands, Mount Rushmore, Wind Cave, all that stuff right in the Black Hills there.
Devil's Tower.
Well, yeah. And then so you add Devil's Tower, which is north of the South Dakota parks. So you're already heading up towards North Dakota to go to Devil's Tower. And so we will do South Dakota, Devil's Tower, Teddy Roosevelt.
Exactly.
It's a perfect trip. It's amazing.
And honestly, when else are you going to be this close?
It's true. It's true. You're probably not making a special trip to North Dakota.
Right.
So add it to your South Dakota one because it really is not that far. It's like, I'd say like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
From Rapid City stuff. It's not bad.
No, not bad.
So yeah, we'll just add it in right there. And then you get to hit another national park that you probably didn't even have on your radar, but should.
Yes.
So that's what we like to do. So this park is in North Dakota. They do keep it open pretty good year round, but definitely like the main season to visit would be from like May to October. Those North Dakota winds, that wind chill, the snow, the blizzard, I personally don't want to be there really in the winter months
it could be pretty biting.
Yeah. So this is a great summer park. And that's when we prefer to go. So,
yes. And there are 3 different sections of this park. And I have something planned by the way.
Oh, great. Yay. Woo.
So for each section, because there's 3 sections, since this is Theodore Roosevelt National Park, I have 3 sets of quick fun facts, interesting facts that we'll talk about before we address each different section of the park.
Okay.
Which I think would be kind of fun.
Yeah. And you'll see this in the fun facts episode that we're doing for this park as well. You know, the man and the nature, we got to talk about both.
Right.
You got to do both at this park. It's important. So I'm on board with that. Let's start with the South Unit. That is the unit that most people visit. That's probably, if you're planning your trip, you're probably going to be staying the closest to this unit. This is the one that most people think of when they think of Theodore Roosevelt National Park, if they think of Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
Right.
So the South Unit is the biggest unit. It has the most to do. It also is right close to Medora, the gateway town in this area and for this park as a whole.
Yes.
And Medora is really fun.
It is really fun. It has back to your point earlier where it's like, it's the West, but it's not really like the West everybody identifies like with the Southwest. It's kind of like the north of the West. It still has the town's vibe it's still built to be kind of a Wild Western feel.
Yeah, I like it. And so you can walk down the downtown area and they've got all sorts of cute shops. This is where you can do some good souvenir shopping. Of course, they have ice cream, candy shops, stuff like that. Some good restaurants. They have more of like the saloon type restaurants, which is fun. And so, yeah, you're probably going to be staying in Medora if you're coming to this park, unless you're camping in the park. Medora is kind of the only place to stay around here.
It's so convenient, and it's kind of like, why wouldn't you stay in Medora? Because everything else is 45 minutes away.
Yeah, well, and it's super cute. It's a really cute town. And Medora is famous for their Medora musical.
Yeah.
Which is a must do when you're here. It's not in the park, but it's right outside. And it's this really cool outdoor amphitheater where they sing songs about the West and North Dakota and Teddy Roosevelt and America.
Yes, America. It's so fun. And they change the musical fairly frequently too.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a big deal in this area. It's kind of the prestigious thing that, you know, and that's what you do when you go to Medora. You go to the musical. So.
And it's not like they switch between like Les Miserables and Phantom of the Opera. That's when I say they switch out the musical, it's not like that. They literally write the musical anew.
Anew. Yeah, so that's really fun. And they do like a steak fondue where they pitchfork steak fondue. They put the steak on the pitchfork and then like dip it in the oil. So you can do that beforehand and then you go see the musical. So definitely add that into one of your evenings here. It's the thing to do here in Medora.
Absolutely.
So fun little town, and the gateway to specifically the South Unit of the park. You're just a few minutes away from the park from downtown Medora. So as you start driving into the South Unit, that's when you're going to hit the visitor center. So definitely stop in there. But the main reason for me to stop here is because behind the visitor center, you have the Maltese Cross Cabin.
Which is the first real hint of actual Teddy Roosevelt that you get. This
is a cabin that he lived in. They've relocated it to this area, but they've refurbished it. Is that the right word? Yeah. I don't think it's
works.
refurbished. They've restored. They restored. Okay, I got it.
This isn't your iPhone. It's a refurbished cabin.
They restored the cabin so you can tour it. You can go inside and learn more about Teddy Roosevelt and his time in North Dakota.
Yeah, and we cover this time a fair amount in the Fun Facts episode. But this is a perfect time to dive into our interesting facts.
Okay.
Our set of interesting facts. So, presidential firsts. Teddy Roosevelt did a lot of presidential firsts. He was the first president to fly.
Okay.
He took a 4-minute flight in an early Wright brothers style plane in 1910.
Nice.
He was the first president to go in a submarine.
Oh.
Yeah. He dove 50 feet deep I love the name of this, in the USS Plunger.
Ah.
Just to see how it worked.
Interesting.
What a terrible name
That's
for
a funny
submarine.
name.
Oh, man. Okay, first, that was probably before indoor plumbing was like
that we needed a plunger.
Exactly.
That's funny.
It's like we plunge down into the water, like when you dive into the water. And now we're all just thinking of the bathroom. Okay.
This is a bathroom theme today for this episode.
Sorry, Teddy, that your episode is bathroom themed. Oh my gosh. He was the first president to travel abroad.
Okay.
He visited the Panama Canal while in office to inspect construction. So most presidents hadn't traveled while they were president before.
Okay.
And he was the first and still the only person to be awarded both the Medal of Honor and the Nobel Peace Prize, which is pretty cool.
Interesting.
One of those, I think it was the Medal of Honor, was awarded to him posthumously. Mm-hmm. And so he didn't get those both while he was alive. But pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lots of presidential firsts. He's a really high achieving, interesting person and had some really fun hobbies and did some really cool things before everybody else did.
A fun sense of adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. That's your first set of fun facts.
Nice. So driving past the visitor center, then you're going to continue on. You'll hit the campground and then you keep going. And then that really, you'll get to the intersection that starts the park's main scenic drive. Mm-hmm. So this scenic loop drive is 36 miles round trip and it takes you through the main part of the park. I mean, the biggest section of the park is found along this scenic loop drive.
And it's really cool because the way that the land just kind of flows up and down and you have so many like wild twists and turns, you don't really ever see where you're going, like a mile down the road. The road always disappears into the landscape. And you're really
twisting and turning through these Badlands formations, getting views in and out of the Badlands. My favorite thing to do along the scenic loop drive, though, is look for wildlife.
Yes.
There's some great wildlife in this park.
Like total Western vibe wildlife.
Yes, it's amazing. So definitely keep your eyes peeled from the very beginning because you never know what you're going to see. We, at the very beginning of this loop, last time we were there, we finally saw the wild horses.
Yes.
Because the first time we went to Teddy Roosevelt, we did not see wild horses.
And
we were
tried.
So disappointed.
Yeah, we were pulling out the binoculars and going slow, and they were very shy.
Yeah, they were not coming out that trip. And so you can see the wild horses, though. We have seen them several times, kind of just right at the beginning of that park loop drive now. Mm-hmm. So keep your eye out for that because that's a really cool thing about Teddy Roosevelt National Park is that you can see wild horses. Mm-hmm. You will pass through a couple prairie dog towns. If you're looking at the map, there's some darker brown areas that the road goes through. And those are always really fun to stop. I feel like in this park, the prairie dogs are very active.
Yeah, I think
they're just yelping and, barking at you. And they're pretty decent sized prairie dog towns. Yeah. And there's a lot of them. So you can just kind of stop and see if you can see any fun things going on.
And they'll bark at you.
Yeah, they're so cute.
They are so fun.
So that's something to keep your eyes out for. Probably, though, I was so excited about wild horses, but probably the coolest thing that we've ever seen wildlife-wise in this park are the buffalo.
Yes, the country's mammal.
And you see buffalo in other national parks, but I am telling you, they are just extra wild and fun in this park. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is about it, but it's like every time we see buffalo in this park, they're just doing something we've never seen them do anywhere else.
I know. And it's really fun because I don't know, maybe other buffalo in other places, they're too busy worrying about predators. Like if you go to Yellowstone, I don't know, maybe they're just too lazy.
Or they're just tired of people.
It's true.
Like all these stupid people over here.
Yeah, exactly. These ones here they're living their bliss or
Yeah.
something.
They're ruling the land out here. I
Yeah.
mean, they really are. And that attitude comes across because
Yeah.
it's like you'll be driving down the scenic drive and there's just a whole herd of buffalo on the road and they do not care. They will make you wait as long as they want to move out of the way. And it's cool because you're like driving and you're going through this herd. And by like having me saying they're more active in this park, it's like when you're driving through the herd, they're not just crossing the road. They're like fighting with each other.
Across the road.
Yeah, right in front of your car, right next to your window. It's like, and you can hear them just like,
The
like,
bellows.
like, yeah, and they'll like fight with each other. They'll like knock together and
you're worried. You're like, please not my car. Please not my car.
yeah, but you could just sit there for hours and watch them. They're running around. They're chasing each other. Like they're doing, I don't know. I have a picture on Dirt in My Shoes in my Teddy Roosevelt article of things you can't miss. And it looks, it's kind of funny because if you don't know the context, you're like, is that bison dying?
I've never thought about that from someone else's perspective because I've known what it's actually doing.
Do you know what? Yeah. But it's like, and you'll see these in Yellowstone and other places too, but there's like big dirt mounds, not mounds,
Like
but
circles of
circles
dirt.
of dirt. Yeah. And they like to roll around in them, but we've never seen them actually rolling around in them. We've just heard that they do that until we got to Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
And we saw them. They were literally just like on their backs, just like rolling around in this dirt everywhere. And there's just like dirt flying everywhere. And I was like, that's what it is. That's what it looks like. Like we saw that for the first time in this national park.
Yeah.
And that's what the picture is of. It's of the bison rolling around in the dirt. But
It's fun. But yeah, these are rough housing bison.
they are. Yeah.
If they were in your house, they're like jumping on the couch, wrestling with each other, bumping into the counters, knocking stuff off. And
They're the kids' friends that you never want to invite over.
exactly.
I was like, oh, we don't like little Jimmy. He always breaks things when he comes. That's how it feels. And so that's what's really cool, I think, about the scenic drive. We have had such good luck seeing great wildlife in the South Unit in particular.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to continue driving here. We're going to take the left-hand fork. We're going to kind of stay straight and go around the park this way. So this is where you pass the Peaceful Valley Ranch. And there's not much to do here, but we like to stop here and walk down to the river. There's a trail that takes you down to the Little Missouri River, which is really nice. You can sit on the banks and just soak in the scenery, and it's really quiet and nobody goes down there.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So you could do that if you want to. Keep driving. You'll go through a fairly large prairie dog town as you keep going. And then right after that prairie dog town is honestly my favorite hike in the entire national park.
It's so
Short.
easy. Yeah, but it gives you a really cool view that we have seen the rough and tumble bison from a little higher up, and you see it with the river, and like it's just really amazing every time we've been there.
So we are talking about the Wind Canyon Trail. It's only 0.4 miles round trip. So it's not very long. And it takes you to the edge of the cliff as you're looking down on the Little Missouri River. And then there's just flatlands and badlands. There's a lot to look at. It's gorgeous. But this is where we found, because we like to go here at sunset too. It's so pretty at sunset. But we were sitting along the trail and just looking out at the view, and there's this big giant herd of buffalo out on the other side of the river, and then they just like started stampeding.
Yeah,
they were like running at full speed like through that, and not for any reason, like just for fun, it looked like.
Yeah, exactly, because there's no people hunting them, you know. I'm like, this is a Dances with Wolves moment, you know.
It was amazing. So again, just like sitting and like soaking it in, taking some time to slow down, see what you can see, look at the beautiful views. So we love this trail. We do it at least once, but maybe twice every time we're in this park.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so continuing along, and you're driving along the top side of the scenic loop. And this section, kind of as you're going towards like the Boy Court Overlook and Trail, this gets a little more Badlandsy as you get back in here. Also, we have fairly good luck seeing the wild horses back in here.
Right.
And it's really pretty up against the Badlands formations and all the prairie grasses and stuff like that. It's just gorgeous. So
I totally agree. And I will say, I think we've discovered this over our more recent trips. But I think, you want to spend the day in the park, but then you go out and eat dinner or whatever. But we just love searching for the wild horses during golden hour. And
you got to go back into the park during golden hour.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's incredible. It's like you're in, I don't know. What are you in? Well, you're in
you're in heaven.
Yeah, you are. You are though.
Paradise.
Oh my gosh. You're in the most idyllic version of this park. Like you see, and you can have like 15 different sunsets depending on, as you keep driving, the sun keeps dipping down below the different Badlands, and you can just get totally different views of the animals with the sun and the different lighting, and it's just the colors all come out, and it's just amazing during golden hour. And so yes, this backside area has been amazing for us.
I know. And seeing the wild horses, oh man. And they run back here. They're not just grazing, like they have space to run.
Yeah,
too.
They're rough and tumble too.
It's amazing. Yes. Okay, so then you continue driving around, and this is when you get to Buck Hill, which is very short, but pretty steep. Gets pretty windy up here, but it gives you a more 360-degree view of the park.
Right.
This is kind of the high point. It's not the high point, but it gets you a little bit higher so you can look down and around.
Which is really neat because I think the Badlands, just so you can see the full expanse of the Badlands, it's cool to get the 360-degree view.
Yeah, and then we continue on. You will pass like the Coal Vein Trail, which has the lignite that you can learn more about in our Fun Facts episode coming up. So you could do that if you want to just have, again, like nobody goes there. So if you're just like, I just want to wander on a trail for a minute and not have people around me, there's places to do that.
That's like every trail.
But especially this one, because you've got to go a little bit off the scenic drive to get down there. So
it's true.
It's true, though. There's a lot of just like, I'm just going to wander on a trail and not see any people, which is lovely. It's so great. So then you keep going around, and this is when you get kind of to the more overlooked section of the scenic drive. So you're looking out kind of down onto the Medora area from up here. And so you've got several good overlooks. You've got the Ridgeline Nature Trail, which again is just kind of looking out and down. You've got another prairie dog town over in this area. So that closes out your scenic drive. And there's trails, if you look at the map, there's trails that kind of bisect the, in the middle of the scenic drive. And so again, if you want to get out and just kind of wander, I mean, there's been times like we've just stopped at a random overlook or parking area, and there's a little trail that goes off of it, and you can just walk it for a minute and just hear the silence. Yeah, honestly.
Well, like I said, it's kind of like, because there's not a whole lot of like must do's, in like we have in other parks, and so you kind of are just kind of like experience or like vibe hunting. And so it's like, if you want that moment out in the West by yourself, just hearing the crickets and the birds and the wind, it's like there are so many different stops that you can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Just find one where there's nobody parked.
Yeah.
And you'll be good to go.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. It's perfect for my hermit heart. So
exactly.
That's the main section of the South Unit, is that scenic loop drive and all the things you can pull off and do there. There's a couple smaller sections of the South Unit. So you've got the Painted Canyon Visitor Center, which is along the highway or along the interstate. And that's just, it's kind of more just like a rest area with an overlook and a couple trails. We do like doing the nature trail out there, and the area is really pretty. That's where you get a little bit more of the colored Badlands.
Yeah. Some oranges mixed in. Oh,
But you are like right off the freeway. So it's kind of like, oh, this is part of the national park. Interesting. But so definitely you can just take a quick trip out there to go see that one. And then the other section of the South Unit that you might want to see is the Petrified Forest area. It takes a little bit longer. You got to drive up there on dirt roads to get up to that trailhead, but there are petrified trees in this national park.
yeah, which was totally
Pretty
a
cool.
surprise.
Yeah.
And we did not expect, and then when we saw it on the map the first time we were showing up to this park, we were like, whoa, wait a second.
What's this?
This is so cool.
Yeah. So there's some petrified forest areas where you can hike around and see all the petrified trees, but that definitely is a little more off the beaten path. Takes a little longer to get there. Dirt roads. Not very many people go out there.
Bring everything you need.
Yep.
And especially water.
I think that's just the rule of thumb for this park. There's not a lot of amenities. There's like no amenities. That's what I mean
By not a lot, we mean very none.
like none. So yeah, bring everything you need. Bring your food, bring your water, bring your bug spray, sunscreen, all the things.
One thing real quick though about the petrified trees here is they're totally different colors than you find like in Petrified Forest National Park.
Yeah.
That really surprised me. When we rolled up on these petrified forest areas and I was looking for like the deep orange and reds that you find in Arizona, and we got here and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
it's like white petrified wood.
Yeah.
It was so surprising, but it's because it's taken on the characteristics of the dirt and the soil in the area.
Yeah.
It's just so different, which was one of the reasons why we hiked to both of them on the same hike. We were like, we're doing both.
We just want to see it all. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the South Unit. Where should we jump to next, John? Should we talk North Unit or should we stay in Mountain Time? Because this park has 2 time zones too.
That might be the only national park that has more than one time zone.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It is kind of weird though.
Yeah. Let's stick in the same time zone.
Okay, we'll stick in the same time zone. So there's another section of this national park that is for the die-hard Teddy Roosevelt fans.
Yes, absolutely.
This is not for everybody, but it's called the Elkhorn Ranch Unit.
Which we talk about a fair amount, like this specific place for Teddy Roosevelt. We talk about this in the Fun Facts episode. It was very important to him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just coming to the park to see the park and you don't really care about the history and stuff behind it, then don't come here.
Right.
But if you come to this park and you're like, I want to get the whole picture. I want to dig deeper into why this national park is named after this man and what this area meant to him. That's what the Elkhorn Ranch Unit is for.
Yeah.
Because it takes like an hour and a half to get to from Medora, down dirt roads, not always great dirt roads. They don't really tell you how to get there unless you ask.
Right.
You kind of have to ask at the visitor center, hey, we want to go to Elkhorn Ranch. And then they will give you like a paper that tells you the driving directions and stuff.
It's like the secret menu at In-N-Out Burger.
Yes, exactly. You do feel pretty cool asking for those.
I'd like the animal style, protein style, Teddy Roosevelt experience.
So, but what it is, and there's not even any buildings here anymore. So you're literally just looking at scenery.
Yeah.
Once you get here.
You have to use your imagination a lot.
But this is where Teddy Roosevelt had his ranch when he lived in North Dakota.
Right. And we'll talk about why he had 2 ranches during the Fun Facts episode. But this one was the main one that he would always come back to.
Yeah.
This was his home base.
Yeah. This is where he found solace.
Yeah.
This is where he worked through his grief. This is where he strengthened his resolve. This is where he really found a love, I think, for conservation of these beautiful places.
Yeah.
So the significance of it is great. But when you get there, you'll be like, there's there's nothing here.
which is why he loved it.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing there.
Yeah.
And it was pretty amazing. I would like to
Oh, yes.
pause for a
Okay.
moment.
Fun facts?
Yeah, a couple of Teddy Roosevelt fun facts, all about the White House.
Okay.
When he moved into the White House, it wasn't called the White House. He actually named it.
Okay.
It was called the Executive Mansion. And he thought, that's a stupid name. And so
Just
he
a big
named
White House.
Exactly. He named it the White House.
Funny.
But when he lived there, the White House was just pure chaos. Oh my gosh. Because when he moved in, he was the youngest American president, I think ever, at age 42,
Okay.
which means he had a bunch of kids.
Oh.
And he had 6 of them.
Okay.
And they all moved into the White House with him with their pets.
Okay.
And so now, like, we always make a big deal. The president gets his dog, he gets like one dog. President Roosevelt moved in with Eli Yale, a blue macaw, Josiah, a badger that the president frequently carried around.
Oh.
Algonquin, a Shetland pony who famously rode the White House elevator with a sick Roosevelt child.
Okay.
Emily Spinach, a garter snake that was owned by his daughter Alice. Pete, a bull terrier who once famously chased the French ambassador down a hallway and tore his pants. Oh my gosh. And then his oldest daughter, Alice Roosevelt, I think it's his oldest, she was notoriously wild and rebellious. And once a friend suggested to Teddy that he should try to maybe discipline her or control her a little bit more, Roosevelt famously replied, "I can either control Alice or run the country. I cannot do both." So, like, that house, just based on that, like, all of the kids running around, they had like a full petting zoo basically at the White House. It was just pure chaos just based on that. Then you add in the president himself. Okay. Something that people don't know about him. He was a brown belt in judo.
Okay.
And he was possibly the first American to reach that level, but he practiced 3 times a week and would often clear the furniture in the White House, like put all the furniture to the walls, and he would grapple with family, visitors, and even foreign diplomats. And so I was just imagining like some guy from some foreign country showing up and President Roosevelt's like, "Want to wrestle?" I just imagining, I think Ash knows this. Ash, who is my favorite character in Pride and Prejudice? Let's see if you know this.
Mr. Collins?
Oh, that's so close.
Oh.
He's so good with his little wave.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know then.
Hill.
Oh.
Okay, if you've never seen Pride and Prejudice, Hill, she is Mrs. Bennet's housekeeper. And she always has to deal with Mrs. Bennet's fits of nerves and things. And so you'll always just hear Mrs. Bennet calling, "Hill, Hill." And you see this red-faced housekeeper just running around the house, just so anxious and everything. I'm just picturing all of the White House staff.
Yeah.
Like running around like Hill, like all these historical items, the kids and the Shetland pony running around the White House and the badger even. And then President Roosevelt's like, "Just push the couch to the side. We're going to wrestle." And I'm just thinking they probably sighed a very deep sigh of relief when he left office.
Go to your own house. Go destroy your own things.
Oh my gosh. So the White House was a very different place when he lived there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh man. And the Elkhorn Ranch was a very different place when he lived there too, like you said, because there's no buildings there
There's
now.
nothing there. Yeah. This is the site of the infamous hair carrot.
Yes.
If you want to hear that story, it's a great story.
It's our story.
It's our story. It's not his story. That's in episode 37. We'll link that in the show notes, but that's a pretty funny story there.
Yeah.
The hair carrot. So very special place for us and him.
Yes, definitely.
But again, that's for the diehard like Teddy Roosevelt fans, of which we are a part of that group. So we do go out there. We do like there. So.
And I will say, maybe you're not a diehard Teddy Roosevelt fan, but it was a really neat place to visit. But also that's where we discovered how much we enjoy listening to North Dakota radio.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you remember that?
A lot of like crop prices just on the regular radio station.
And like we heard the funniest commercial, like there was a promotion that some outdoor goods store was doing, and they like invited everybody to come down in the best North Dakota accents to like shoot bows and arrows at random things or something like that.
Yeah, we're like, what is this place?
This
It
place
sounds
is-
amazing.
It was awesome. So if you get a chance, turn off whatever you're listening to, your Spotify or whatever.
Except us.
Yes. Turn off your Spotify or your Pandora, whatever you're listening to, just for a little while and listen to local radio. You won't be disappointed.
Pretty awesome. Okay, that's the second unit. Now we go to the third unit of this park, and that's the North Unit. This one is in Central Time. The other two are in Mountain. So do take note of that because it's weird. You're driving just basically straight north from the South Unit, and then you change time zones. And you're like, why? why am I in a different time zone right now?
Right.
But doesn't matter because there's nothing out here that's you're not on a schedule.
Right. Exactly.
The time doesn't matter. So the North Unit is about a little over an hour's drive from the South Unit. That hour is enough to deter most people. So this unit stays nice and quiet.
Yeah.
And it honestly might be my favorite part of the park.
It was so pretty and it was so quiet, and there's still buffalo here, and you get
There's even longhorn cattle here. The park keeps a herd like as a nod to the ranching that is just so prevalent in this area. So that's pretty cool. Prairie dogs, again, lots of prairie dogs.
Yes.
So
and this is where the Little Missouri River that we talk about a fair amount in the Fun Facts episode, this is kind of where it takes its right-hand turn.
yeah, yep. So same river that you're seeing in the South Unit, you're also seeing in the North Unit. But a lot of the North Unit does kind of follow that river and give you really nice overlooks of the river. And this one, so there's a campground. That's really it. There really is nothing up here.
Exactly. Once again, when we talk about how there's very few amenities,
We mean none. Yep. We mean none.
Exactly.
So you get up here nice and quiet. What you have is 14-mile road. That's the North Unit Scenic Drive. So 28 miles round trip to go in and out. It's not a loop like in the South Unit. But again, you're just kind of driving and soaking it in, seeing what you can see, looking for wildlife. There are some longer trails you can hike up here. But there's just so much solitude. Like you don't have to go very far to find the quiet.
No, absolutely not.
Even just talking about it, I can feel like my heart rate going down. I'm like, oh, I love this place. You just meander and you just soak it in.
I can't remember. I mean, I really don't even remember seeing other people.
I think we saw like maybe 10 cars up here the last time we were here. Maybe. But probably not.
But with over that 14 miles, you know, out and back, that's a pretty big space to spread out 10 cars.
Yeah. So what we like to do along here, so you're driving in, the Cannonball concretions are pretty cool. Actually,
that is a really neat geologic feature.
Yeah. So that they're like big cannonballs.
Yeah.
Like cement cannonballs, but they're natural.
Yeah. That just like roll out of the mountains.
Weird.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. The Little Mo Nature Trail, I really like. And there's two different options for this one. You can do the shorter loop or the longer loop. We always choose long.
Yep.
That's just what I do. So, but this takes you down by the Little Missouri River, which is affectionately nicknamed the Little Mo.
Right.
I love that so much. It's such a cute name. So the Little Mo, you can take the nature trail and kind of take it down to the river, which is beautiful. And then that's where you have the campground and stuff too. Continuing on.
I think that's where we saw some really cool hawks too, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
By the campground or the Little
By the
Mo?
Little Mo Nature Trail.
Okay.
Like
I
there
don't
was
remember hawks.
there was the cool ones that hover, but then also I think there was some red-tailed hawks that were huge.
Okay, cool. I love hawks.
Yeah.
Hawks are so cool. And then you continue on past the campground, and out here, so a couple different trail options right in this area. You've got the Caprock Coulee Nature Trail, which is pretty. And again, just like nobody there. It's just, and you're kind of walking in between. You're kind of in between some Badlands formations.
Yeah.
They're a little bit closer to you.
Yeah.
It's a little more intimate feeling where you're just kind of walking through a little canyon.
In some ways,
kind of.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're in southern Utah and you're kind of snug in between like Red Rock Canyons.
Yeah.
But these are the Badlands.
Yeah.
And you get all the cool different colors and the striations.
Yeah, so that's pretty. And then we've taken from that same parking lot, you can kind of go out, and it's the Buckhorn Trail that you can catch up to another prairie dog town. It's really pretty back in there. You might be prairie dogged out by this point. Maybe you're like, I'm not hiking to see prairie dogs when you can literally see them right next to the road in the South Unit.
It's true. But I will say, if you want a challenge to keep you excited about the prairie dogs, what you want to try to do is catch a picture of them when they throw their arms all the way back. And they they do a very specific bark. It's really hard to catch.
They fling their bodies backwards. And I tried for a good half an hour, probably in Wind Cave National Park the last time we were there, and gave up because I got a really, really great one of the prairie dog doing that here in the North Unit. And I was like, I want to get this on video, and because I was just so sad it was only a picture.
Right.
But it's a cool picture. But yeah.
So good.
And so last time we were in Wind Cave, I was like, oh, prairie dogs, let's see if I can get a video. And they were not good prairie dogs.
They were not cooperating
They were not.
At all.
No, they were being very difficult. So,
but what's kind of fun, because there's so many prairie dogs, they only have a handful of noises that they make that you can really interpret. Like they have the big bark where they throw their arms back, but they also have a few other sounds. But you can kind of get to know them and recognize them. And so it's kind of fun. This is the park where you get to feel like you're part of the prairie dog community.
And you've got nowhere else to be.
Right.
So it's, again, just like a different type of trip, a different type of national park trip. Because it's like, if I want to sit and look at prairie dogs for half an hour, I can.
Yeah.
I don't have to feel like I have to rush to the next thing or do anything else, or that I'm wasting my time or anything like that. It's just like, I just want to sit here.
Yeah. And I think one of the coolest, because it's so lonely, especially when we were out here on this Buckhorn Trail, it's really interesting because you kind of get a feel. This is probably what parts, if you were doing the Oregon Trail in the mid 1800s, you would have moments like this. And it'd be so cool.
Except with dysentery.
Or cholera. Exactly. And so this is like experiencing the West with your own family in a covered wagon would have felt like.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Continuing on, that's when you get to, I think maybe my favorite overlook in the North Unit, the River Bend overlook. I just really like that one because the river is just right below you. It's really pretty. This is where they have it's an old CCC structure.
Right
here. And the CCC was in through this area a lot. So again, another piece of history that's really cool in the national parks is the CCC and all the things that they built and all that, is really cool. So you can see parts of their work here in this national park as well. So
yeah, that is super neat. You get multiple generations of history because those guys were separated. Ooh, Roosevelt and Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So continuing on then, you're just kind of, meandering through the Badlands formations, through the prairie as you drive on. And when you get to the end of the road, this is where you get to Oxbow Overlook, which I just got to tell you, I love a good oxbow in a river.
When you mentioned that the other one, the River Bend overlook, was your favorite, I was going to say, I think the because those are always my favorite ones.
I know. It's like the oxbow, because there's an oxbow bend in Grand Teton. You've got Dead Horse Point State Park in Utah with really good oxbow.
With the goosenecks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
So anyway, we love a good oxbow.
Yeah.
But there's a good one here. It's so pretty. However, you can walk beyond the Oxbow Overlook along the trail. It's the South Achenbach Trail. Achenbach? Achenbach? Achenbach, I think. But you walk along this for just a short distance and you can get to Sparati Point, which
That one's pretty sweet.
It's just beautiful. Again, it's a more established trail. If you want to get on the trail, it's, around 2 miles round trip to go out and back. Nobody else probably will be out there. You get to experience the quiet. You can go as far as you want to. Just turn around when you're done. It's nice.
Yeah, and then when you're out there, if you notice where, if you're looking at the map, you can see you're basically, the way you look at the river, you get to watch the river go off into the distance.
Yeah.
Because it's flowing east and the viewpoint looks east, and it's so cool to see the little mow meander out of sight.
Exactly. And that's it. That's the park.
Yeah.
And we do like to give ourselves, honestly, my perfect trip to Theodore Roosevelt National Park is 3 days. I like to have a day for each section.
Yeah.
And then that gives you an option to go to the Medora musical in the evening of one of the days. You can, you can hang out downtown. You don't have to always be in the park doing stuff, but you have a really nice, beautiful, relaxing day in the park. And then you go do something fun in the evening or head back into the park for golden hours sunset in the evening.
The golden hours are amazing.
I just don't like to rush through this park because I think that one of my favorite things about it is the unhurried feeling of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have gone a couple trips ago. We only had a day or something. We're like, let's just pop up there and go see it because we like being up there anyway. And I was like, no, that took away the magic for me. I need more time. I need to feel like I don't have to hurry, that I'm not trying to get to, every section of the park in a short amount of time.
Right. And you kind of your experience hunting like Teddy Roosevelt, which we forgot to do for the third section. By the way.
We're not done. Yeah.
Oh
go
my
for
gosh.
It. Yeah.
Okay. So that's actually perfect because we kind of did all 3 sections already. And these fun facts are all about his after presidential office adventures.
Okay.
He was honestly a real life Jungle Cruise Indiana Jones type of person. He was amazing. And he took 2 specific Indiana Jones adventures that I want to quickly talk about. After leaving office in 1909, Roosevelt embarked on an epic 11-month, 2,500-mile safari through Africa.
Okay. Wow.
And the African safari was arranged by the Smithsonian Institution as a scientific expedition. But during those 11 months, they trapped or shot over 11,000 animals.
Oh my gosh.
From insects to elephants and hippos, that they became part of the Smithsonian's collection.
Okay.
And some of the animals that he collected are some of the most famous ones that the United States has.
Well, and he was a big hunter.
Huge hunter.
So that makes sense.
And that was one of the main reasons why he came out to North Dakota in the first place, was to hunt. The next trip, after running for re-election in 1912 and losing, he decided he wanted to go to Brazil with his son, and they explored an unmapped river with the coolest name, the River of Doubt. And the expedition was a disaster. Oh my gosh. They lost their canoes. Several men died. One was murdered. And Teddy himself caught severe fever. And he was so sick that he told his son, which just has a pretty awesome name, Kermit.
Oh.
Yeah. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? Anyways, he told his son Kermit to leave him behind and save himself. Because he thought he was going to die.
Oh my gosh.
But his son Kermit, to his credit, didn't leave him behind. But Teddy did lose 50 pounds, and the ordeal permanently weakened his heart and his health. But he survived. And in honor of his survival, the Brazilian government renamed it the Roosevelt River.
Interesting.
And so he really when you go to Disneyland and you're on the Jungle Cruise and you're experiencing all the stuff, that was Teddy Roosevelt for real.
That sounds awful.
Oh, yeah. Sounds real rough. I'm sure malaria and lots of things was not a fun experience. But to your point, though, of not rushing things at this park, he spent 11 months in Africa hunting.
Yeah.
And they were they took these intentional adventures. And that's really what Teddy Roosevelt National Park kind of is for me, is it's an intentional slowdown. It's an intentional adventure where you go and you see wild rough and tumble creatures, living their best life, and then you're joining them. And it's like you're finding what you need in this beautiful place.
All right, my friend. We loved going through this park with you. Hopefully you get a trip to this park on your calendar.
Yeah.
And again, add it in with the South Dakota parks and Devil's Tower. It's not too hard to get up here if you're already in that area. So today for your task, we would like you to go to the Dirt in My Shoes Instagram or Facebook page, and we'll have a post there that you can comment on, but we want to hear what wildlife you're the most excited to see in this park.
Right.
Do you want to see the bison herds and the rolling in the dirt and fighting with each other? Do you want to see the wild horses running with the wind in their manes and the golden hour light shining on them? Do you want to see the prairie dogs that are very vocal and very happy to see you?
Super cute.
Throwing their bodies back as they bark at you. What are you the most excited to see when you're in this park?
Yes. And I was thinking, as you were saying, the wild horses with the wind and the sun in their mane, I was like, this is the place where one of them will transform into a unicorn. Guaranteed. It's just that magical during golden hour. Just like it just pops up and suddenly appears with the glittering, shimmerness that happens.
Shimmerness?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely.
Did we romanticize the park enough for you?
I think so.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking of unicorns and their shimmerness,
think we got there. Yep.
then it definitely is a Western romanticized version of a national park. It's so good. Well, thank you again for joining us today. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please give us a 5-star review. It really helps the podcast. And we love the Dirt in My Shoes audience that we get to interact with. And thank you again for being here. And we can't wait to see you out on the trail.